Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that's really changing the game in our schools, an idea called trauma-informed education. It's all about understanding how stress and trauma can impact learning and, what we can actually do about it to create schools where every single student can thrive.
All right, to kick things off, let's actually try a little experiment. It's super quick, but you're going to see for yourself just how much a tiny bit of pressure can change the way our brains process things. It's pretty wild.
So here's the big question. It seems simple, right? But the answer has massive implications for how we teach. Before I just give you the answer, let's put it to the test. You ready for this? Okay, so in just a second, a list of numbers is going to pop up on your screen. All you have to do is count how many numbers are in that list. The trick is to do it as fast as you can. Seriously, don't overthink it. Ready? Let's do it. So, what'd you get? If you counted 9, you're not alone. That's what most people see. But if you were really focused on counting fast, you might have totally missed that the number 1 was actually on the list 3 times. And this is a perfect example of a really key idea. Even a little bit of stress, like the pressure to be quick, can literally change what we see and how we perform. Now, just imagine what real significant stress does to a student who's just trying to learn algebra. So, that little quiz, it leads us right into the heart of what we're talking about today. If our brains can be so easily affected by stress, we absolutely need a new way of thinking that takes that into account. And that's exactly what trauma-informed care is. So let's break down what that phrase actually means. At its core, this isn't about teachers becoming therapists. It's about creating an entire environment where everyone, from the principal to the bus driver, gets that students might have experiences that affect their behavior, their focus, their everything. It's a fundamental shift. From asking, what's wrong with you, to asking, what happened to you? And these principles are how you turn that idea into reality. This isn't just a philosophy. It's about taking real steps, like building compassion into the system, making sure educators actually feel equipped and confident, giving them chances to learn from each other, and, maybe most importantly, taking a hard look at our own biases around trauma. Okay, so we've got the definition, we've got the principles, but what does this actually look like when the bell rings? Why is this so incredibly important inside a school building? Now, this is a really important point. The goal isn't to wrap students in bubble wrap and protect them from all stress. I mean, that's just not life, right? The real goal is to build up their resilience, to expand their capacity to handle stress so it doesn't completely overwhelm them. That's when real learning can finally happen. And just look at the difference this makes. On the one side, you've got what can happen in a typical school setting for a student dealing with a lot. They feel swamped, they can't engage, and sometimes school can accidentally make things even worse. But on the other side, with this kind of support, you see something amazing happen. Resilience goes up, and the classroom becomes a place where they feel safe enough to actually learn and grow. This quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. This is really an ethical line in the sand. Every single interaction, every lesson plan has to be viewed through this lens. Is this helping? And are we making sure we're not causing more harm by ignoring what a student is carrying with them? Now, this all sounds fantastic, but let's be real. Making it happen across an entire school or district is a huge lift. So let's get practical. How does this move from being a great idea to being what we actually do every day? The sources all point to this clear 3-part strategy. First, it all starts with real, meaningful training for every staff member, and not just some one-off workshop. Second, you have to weave mental health and wellness right into the curriculum itself. And third, none of it sticks without policies from the very top that back all this work up. But of course, knowing the playbook and running the plays are two totally different things. Bringing a trauma-informed approach into the real world comes with some serious hurdles. For starters, the term trauma-informed can get thrown around so much it starts to lose its meaning. There's always a need for deeper, better training. And here's a huge one. We have to talk about the burnout and overwhelm that teachers and staff feel. Because if we want to support the students, we absolutely have to support the adults in the building too. Talking about these challenges isn't a bad thing at all. In fact, it's the opposite. It's the only way we can build a system that's not only going to work, but that's going to last, for everyone involved. When you boil it all down, this is the vision. This is what we're shooting for. Schools that are more than just places to learn math and history. They become true foundations for well-being. It's this idea that you can't have lasting academic success without first building it on a solid ground of student wellness.
And look, this isn't just some feel-good idea, it's a genuine call to action. It's a challenge to every single person in the education world to make this a top priority, to weave these ideas into our schools so deeply that this becomes the new normal, not the exception to the rule.
And that's the question I want to leave you with today. Seriously, just think about it. What kind of potential could we unlock? What kind of futures could our kids build if every single one of them walked into school feeling truly seen, safe, and supported? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.